Hello everyone, it's Thuan again. It's great to meet you all in the next episode. In the previous podcast, episode 28, I was super excited to tell you all that I bought a new mic, but I received feedback that the mic wasn't good. Today, I'm recording with a different new mic. Please listen and then leave a comment later to let me know if this mic is better than the old one, or if, after all this, the 99,000 VND mic is still my true love. I really don't know. Honestly, everyone, I'm so oblivious to sound. I can never tell if the sound quality of one is good and another isn't, or if the audio is scratchy or not enough, something. Someone told me the other day it wasn't enough something, like HC Mebik or something. I don't understand that at all, so I don't know what sounds good or bad. So please scroll down later and comment below to let me know if this audio is better than the old one. Okay, everyone. I also cut a segment from an old podcast and posted it on my TikTok. Luckily, it went viral and a lot of people listened. When many people know about you, some will like you but some won't. And that's okay, I'm fine with that. Of course, not 100% of people can like me. It's normal for some to like me and some not to. But when they say bitter things, when they disparage or say things that hurt me, I do get sad. I'm human, after all. I'm not a robot that doesn't feel sad about those things. Actually, before I decided to be a person on social media, not a celebrity. Mind you, I'm not a celebrity, just someone on social media, someone who, if you want to know, you can find out about meaning if you want to listen to my podcast. You can easily find and listen to it. So, I've done a lot of self-reflection. I've read quite a bit of material and researched extensively on the topic of how some people will like me and some will dislike me, and how to be okay with the fact that some people won't like me or even hate me. So, today I'm making this podcast episode to summarize what I've read and practiced to feel okay about being judged by others. So, let's start now. I used to be super sensitive and always afraid of being judged by others. I'd constantly wonder if doing this or that was okay. I was even silly enough that when I first started my podcast channel, my real name is Thai Enhung, but I didn't dare use that name for the podcast. I had to make up a random name, Thuan, so people wouldn't know who I was, so my friends wouldn't know it was me doing a podcast, so they wouldn't listen, judge, or make fun of me. I was that afraid of being judged by others. But actually, I realized one thing: nobody cares about me as much as I think they do. And realizing this has made me breathe so much easier. They have their own problems, relationships, and 1,000 things in their lives. They will never have too much time to care about my life. If they don't like me, they'll just say it and then forget about it. Only I will remember those words and suffer. When I was little, I was quite, not difficult, but mean-spirited, everyone. I was like a drama queen, no, not like that, more like someone who gossips a lot, telling random stories and discussing other people's lives. That's when I was little. But now that I'm older, I realize that the time I dedicate to my own life worrying about work, career, relationships, studying, reading books, and just having fun is already not enough. My own life is too busy for me to manage and organize, let alone go around gossiping about others or judging them. I truly don't have enough time for that. And I think it's the same for everyone. As we grow older, we have more worries, and we tend to be less envious and less intrusive into other people's lives. Looking at ourselves, we'll know that people don't care about us as much as we think. Especially when we enter university, from around 18 years old upwards, people tend to care less and less about others. For example, if someone goes to university, no matter how stylishly dressed or incredibly beautiful they are, people will just glance at them and then go back to their own business. Everyone just lives their own life. So, if any of you are currently bothered by what others think or are afraid of being judged, no, everyone, we're deluding ourselves. In reality, people don't care about us as much as we think. Even now, my friends still tease me. People often ask me why I named my podcast Thuan. I never know how to explain it, but actually the very first reason this channel is named Thuan is simply because I was afraid my friends would listen and judge me. I was afraid my acquaintances would know I did a podcast, so I chose the name Thuan. But in reality, everyone eventually knows who is behind this mic. My friends all know, they all listen, and they all know I'm the podcaster. But since they saw I wanted to keep it a secret, they were like, okay, if you want to hide it, we'll pretend not to know. Getting back to the issue of being afraid of judgment and being hated by others. Honestly, it's easy to say we're afraid, but deep down, nobody actually likes being hated. When people badmouth us behind our backs, when they judge us and we hear those words, it genuinely hurts me a lot and it makes me doubt who I am. I start asking questions like, am I really that kind of person? And those words, those labels they put on me, I truly believe they are the truth. I believe those words define who I am, that I am genuinely that person. Sometimes, those criticisms and judgments echo endlessly in my head, but you just need to get past that stage, to the point where you can look back at yourself and assess whether that judgment is true or not. If it's true, then you change for the better. If it's not true, then we shouldn't pay attention to those judgments. And realize that at some point, we won't care anymore about what others think of us. In reality, they only utter those judgments to satisfy their own egos. They don't care how we feel. They don't truly care if we're good or bad, or how we change after their judgment. So why should we care, right? And now I've realized that not everyone has to like me. This might sound mean, but there are some people I meet for the first time and I just don't like them. When I say I don't like them, it doesn't mean I hate them or judge them or play dirty tricks on them. Not liking here means I don't want to approach them, don't want to hang out with them, or get to know them on a deeper level. Even we ourselves are like that, right? We always have people we dislike at first sight. So it's the same for others. Maybe, by chance, we happen to be in the group of people they don't like. It's normal for them not to like us, right? Just as we don't like everyone, we can't please everyone. So, be okay with someone not liking you. It's a very normal thing. Two girls or a group of girls tend to become closer if they both dislike the same person. If two girls both hate the same person, they will definitely become closer. When going for coffee or studying in a group, people often sit around badmouthing someone. That makes us feel really, really satisfied, like we've found an ally on our side. I hate that girl, and you hate that girl too, so we're on the same team, and talking bad about someone else makes us feel good. We all know this isn't good. To call it immoral might be a bit much, but it's not a beautiful way to live, it's not a good habit, but it's fun. Actually, it's not really badmouthing, it's just speaking the truth, but not to the person's face. Actually, I think the act of judging isn't bad. It just depends on how we judge. I don't think we should stop judging, because judgment is necessary for us to know what's right and wrong, good and bad, what we should and shouldn't do. So, the act of judging is necessary, and the act of judgment itself isn't bad at all. It's only the asterisk way we use it that can be bad. Judgment is only wrong when we lean towards emotions instead of seeking the truth. For example, when commenting on a drama, instead of providing neutral information and finding out whether the drama is right or wrong, people often react like, "See, I told you so. Karma always comes, sooner or later." They comment with their personal opinions instead of facts and truth. Regarding this issue, I watched a video about how to judge correctly. In that video, they even mentioned a concept called liberotecnia, which means judging with calmness, without attachment, without being led, and always judging with a truly fair mindset. In that state, we view things from a broader perspective, and during the judging process, we break free from personal biases and emotions, with the sole goal of finding the truth, not to argue who wins or loses, or to satisfy emotional urges or personal grudges. People will provide information and discuss together to find the truth, instead of offering opinions like, "I don't like this," or "I like that." Those are things that belong to opinion, and it shouldn't be like that. When I studied law, my professor said something very interesting. In our legal field, the Statue of Liberty, Lady Justice, holds great symbolic significance. Lady Justice is a goddess whose eyes are blindfolded, with the purpose that she will judge in the most impartial way, not based on personal biases or emotions. And when I studied law, I learned that in British law, whenever a trial takes place, in addition to the judge, lawyers, and prosecutor, there's also a jury. A jury is a group of people who don't necessarily work in the legal field. They can come from many different backgrounds. They won't see the face of the defendant, or rather, the person being tried. They will read the case information. Those people will sit together and discuss whether the person is guilty or not, and discuss the court's judgments without ever having seen the person being tried. They only read the files. And the 12 people represent, well, the idea that more people mean more opinions, and they ultimately make the final verdict on whether the person is guilty or not. That's how they ensure that the law is always safe and ready. Speaking of biases and emotions, they can make us misjudge someone. I find this to be very true. Each of us has our own prejudices, and those prejudices can hinder us quite a bit. For example, you've never met a certain girl before, and you hear people around you say, "Oh, that person is no good, she's like this and like that." And in your head, you'll form a negative view of that girl. Later, when you have the chance to interact with her, a person, of course, has good points and bad points, right? But you might not notice her good points. And when she does things that resemble the bad things those others said, we'll automatically assume and judge her as a terrible person. It will make us think badly of someone before even meeting them, and we might lose out on good relationships. One gap year, I worked in Dalat, and there I met many people from different countries. Because Dalat has many foreigners who come to travel a lot, everyone. And I met many people from all over the world, and that really opened my eyes and helped me shed some of my prejudices. Oh, and I also found something super funny. One day, I invited a Japanese friend to eat. I told her, "This is a dish that Vietnamese people love from their childhood, and it's super delicious. You have to try it when you're here. It's so good, come with us." So my Japanese friend was like, "Oh, I'd love to try a dish that Vietnamese people like." So she happily came along to eat. We arrived at the restaurant and ordered bun dao mam tom, vermicelli with fried tofu and fermented shrimp paste. While we were eating and enjoying it immensely, my Japanese friend smelled the mam tom and was completely startled. She kept covering her nose and wouldn't eat. So we asked her, "What's wrong?" She said, "I can't stand this smell and it's black, so I'm scared. What is this?" So we explained to her that mam tom asterisk is made from fish. We let the fish ferment, then essentially salt cure it until it breaks down into this paste, which we then eat. And that's precisely how mam asterisk is made. So, when she heard that and saw the black color and smelled the mam tom asterisk, she got scared. She just couldn't eat it anymore. She said, "I don't think it's delicious, I'm scared." And she was like, Oh, don't make me eat it, I won't eat it. I'll just sit and watch you guys." We kept laughing and talking about food and cultures of different countries. Then the Japanese friend told me, "Before, I traveled to many places around the world. I went to one country where, after eating, you had to burp loudly to show that the meal was delicious and to thank the host. But when I went there, I didn't know that custom. I finished eating and saw everyone at the table burping, one by one, each with a loud burp. I didn't understand. At first, I just thought, how rude. Why are they all burping so openly? When I saw one or two people burp, I thought they were rude, but when I saw the asterisk entire table burping loudly and I was the only one who wasn't, then I thought, now I'm the weird one. I didn't think asterisk they were weird anymore. I thought asterisk I was weird because I didn't understand why everyone was burping. But at that moment I thought, now I don't care why everyone is burping, I have to try to burp. And she said that day she also ate a dish that was quite easy to burp after. She really wanted to burp, but only held back because she felt it would be rude to do so. So, she finally let out a burp and everyone at the table laughed like, "See, you finally burped, didn't you?" She blushed and asked everyone, "Why is it like that? Why does everyone burp? Is it a custom?" And everyone explained that it was their custom to burp after eating as a way of telling the host, "Thank you, the meal was delicious." It was like that. So I realized two things. The first problem is that humans have a strong tendency to follow the crowd. When they see one or two people doing something, they find it strange, but when everyone is doing it and they're not, they feel asterisk they are strange, and they don't care if it's right or wrong or why it's happening. Just do it first, then think about it later. That's the first issue. And the second thing I realized is that the place we grow up, our education and upbringing, influences us greatly, especially our prejudices. My friends and I in Dalat that day, we were born and raised in Vietnam for decades, so we found asterisk bun dao asterisk delicious, mam tom asterisk delicious. But this Japanese friend had never encountered mam tom before, and she found it extremely strange and disgusting. Another time, a Danish friend came to our place and we told her, "Tet, Lunar New Year, is coming soon, and we're making a super delicious dish for the holidays. Many Vietnamese people love this. Do you want to try it?" So, this girl was curious and wanted to try it. We brought out some lemongrass and kumquat chicken feet for her to eat. Just seeing the chicken feet, she was already scared, you know. When I handed her the chicken foot, her face was not scared, but her hands were trembling. Everyone, it was so funny. Then, as we sat there gnawing on the chicken feet, crunching them loudly, she just kept watching us. Her hands were still trembling while holding the chicken foot, everyone. Then we told her, eat it, it's delicious. Don't worry, it might look strange, but it's tasty, go on and try it. Because people in the West never eat chicken feet. So if they go to the supermarket to buy chicken, the package doesn't contain chicken feet. They usually discard them. So she had never eaten chicken feet, or rather, rarely seen them, which made her quite afraid of them. When she bit into the chicken foot, because it was marinated in lemongrass and kumquat, it was crispy and chewy, completely different from the soft chicken meat she was used to eating. So she was scared. So, through those two foreign friends, I realized that prejudices are actually formed during our upbringing and our understanding of culture. Something we might find delicious or beautiful, others from a different region, religion, culture, or country might find not delicious or not beautiful, and that's perfectly normal. So, if we make judgments like, I think that dish is disgusting, how can you find it delicious? That's just rude. Just because I don't find it delicious doesn't mean it's bad. Judging something as beautiful or ugly is often rude, everyone. Now I've just realized something. If I don't like something, it's okay to keep it to myself or to evaluate it in a very informative way, like, I don't like this because. And then list the reasons. That's constructive criticism, like giving feedback for improvement, not just saying, I don't like it, and badmouthing it. That's rude, everyone, seriously. Don't judge like that, it's tactless. While researching human biases and prejudices, I came across a quote. How do you say, quote, everyone? A quote. I found this quote. Humans often use IQ for the purpose of reinforcing their arguments, rather than comprehensively and impartially understanding the truth of a matter. That's so true, everyone. We often only believe what we want to believe, and we tend to use the information systems and prejudices we've formed in our minds over time to evaluate an issue, instead of sitting there to find the ultimate truth. And humans often have a competitive nature. Many times, even when they know they're wrong or don't agree, they still try to argue stubbornly and desperately try to defend themselves and their own points. That's why we need critical thinking. And I'm not very good at critical thinking myself, everyone, so I don't know how to advise. I'm also trying to read a lot of books on critical thinking and so on, hoping I'll improve. But critical thinking is essential because we have so many prejudices and biases, everyone. I know a word, onion. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, which means realizing how small we are and realizing that we can only experience a very small part of the world. When we realize that we can only experience a fraction of the world and that there are so many interesting things around us that we don't know, that's when we become more eager to learn and will shed some of our own prejudices and biases. Do you notice that we tend to, how should I explain it, easily care about and be easily interested in things that are familiar to us? For example, if someone tells you, hey, guy A likes you. Maybe before, you never paid attention to A, but from the moment you hear your best friend say that A likes you, you'll pay more attention to A normally. When you met her for a meal, you wouldn't notice anything, but now when you eat with A, you'll start paying attention to how they eat, if they help others, how they treat the service staff. From the moment you know that A likes you, you'll usually notice A appearing in your life much more than usual, much more than before. Because that's when we start paying more attention to them. Let's take a simpler example. The other day I was talking to my friend and I said, ever since I started working in marketing, when I walk down the street and see advertisements, I tend to look at how the headlines are written, if they're good, if the image layout is logical, and if the campaign is successful, you know? Then, one day, we went to a shopping mall together. I saw an advertisement billboard for a major corporation. Let's call it X. I told my friend, hey, look how cleverly they've arranged this. The message is here, and the image is very suggestive. And look at the layout below, like a plaza. I'd say this is a very successful campaign. And my friend said, yeah, you're right, everyone has a different perspective. But I think the architecture in this area is really good. Like the roof design is fine, and the layout is very reasonable for guests. Blah, blah, blah. I just realized that even when two of us go to explore an area together, we'll have two different perspectives, depending on our professions. I only recently learned that this is related to something called confirmation bias. Have you ever wondered why horoscopes and numerology are so accurate? You read them once and instantly see yourself in them. We find them accurate because horoscopes usually only speak in general terms. They say things that anyone reading will find applicable to themselves, and humans also have a tendency towards confirmation bias. For example, if a horoscope says, "You are a very emotional person in love," we'll look back and think, "Oh, that's true." We'll connect past events and realize, "Yeah, I am quite emotional." And if someone else reads it, they'll also think, "Oh, I'm emotional too." If you don't believe me, try reading a horoscope interpretation for a different zodiac sign, not your own. You'll likely still find yourself in it to some extent because horoscopes are quite general. I don't believe 100% in horoscopes, but I find natal charts more reasonable everyone. If any of you want to understand yourselves better, you can go check out your natal chart. Natal charts differ from horoscopes in that they analyze each person's birth hour, day, and month, and then create a map. That map will show Jupiter, moon, sun signs, and many other signs. In general, many signs and factors combine, along with house cusps and so on. I believe in natal charts more. Oh my, I went off on a tangent about horoscopes and such. Let's get back to confirmation bias. Do you know about Tu Vi asterisk, Vietnamese Chinese astrology? Tu Vi is quite similar to a natal chart. Natal charts are Western, while Tu Vi originated in China. Tu Vi also creates a birth chart based on each person's birthday, month, and hour, and it outlines a person's personality and predicts their future. At what age they'll marry, what career is suitable, and if their life will be happy. This also relates to confirmation bias. For example, if a asterisk Tu Vi asterisk chart says that we won't be happy later in life, and if we marry, we'll divorce, it plants a thought in our minds. Ah, if I marry, I won't be happy. Later, when we actually get married and are in a real marriage, it's never 100% rosy, right? There will be arguments and disagreements. So, instead of trying to reconcile and improve together, we recall the asterisk Tu Vi prediction that we won't be happy and don't try our best for the marriage, letting it drift. When two people don't try, it will naturally fall apart, and then we'll conclude that the asterisk Tu Vi was right. So, to conclude today's podcast, I want to tell everyone that we should try our best to avoid prejudices and personal emotions from making us misjudge someone. And most importantly, we should never judge others in a toxic or harmful way. But if we judge in a civilized and fair way, as I mentioned earlier, like liberotecnia, judgment, then it's not bad at all, everyone. That is good and necessary for the development of society. And for those of you who are always afraid of being judged by others, go back to the beginning of the podcast. Remember what I said, nobody cares about us as much as we think, and not everyone has to like us. Okay. So that concludes today's podcast. Goodbye and see you next time. See.